Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just last week, Ghana Atomic Energy Commission launched the celebration of its 60th anniversary. With the theme, 60 years of impacting society through nuclear science and technology, expanding our frontiers. Today, what we're witnessing is a public engagement by one of the 7 institutes of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. That's the Radiation Protection Institute. It was established as a research and technical support organization to ensure protection of human health and the environment from the harmful effects of radiation. I'm happy to inform you that the Institute provides scientific and technical services in the area of health versus occupational radiation protection, public exposure control, nuclear security and safety, and non-ionizing radiation protection. So as I indicated, today is more like a public engagement. So no big English and serious scientific jargons. We want to bring everything to the public. There will be initial 1 or 2 speeches, but then we'll fall into a panel discussion where we will discuss issues, after which we will invite you to ask questions if you have any. Having said all of this, I believe it's the appropriate time to officially start the program. And here I want to invite Reverend Richard Dogbe to give us the opening prayer. Shall we welcome with a big round of applause then?
Good morning. Shall we pray? Father, thank you for today. This is the day that you have made. Thank you for granting us traveling mercies to this place. Those who are not yet here, we pray that you continue to guide them safely to this place. We commit today's activity into your hands. Lord, may every discussion and presentation that we go through today be geared towards ensuring the radiation protection of workers, the environment, and the nation as a whole. We pray for over every water or food that we may take here, bless them. And by the end of the day, we'll be careful to give you thanks. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Reverend Dogby. So we have to introduce our chairman for today. And here I want to invite Ms. Joanna Otu to do us the honors. Let's appreciate her coming here.
Thank you. Good morning. It is my greatest honor to introduce the gentleman who will be serving as the chairman for today's public engagement. Our chairman is a medical practitioner with specialization in medical engineering and health technologies. He completed his medical training at the University of Ghana Medical School and furthered his expertise in medical engineering at Queen Mary, University of London. In addition, he has undertaken various courses in project management, procurement, and health technologies. He currently is the head of the biomedical engineering unit at the Ministry of Health. His previous roles include serving as the Deputy Director and Health of Clinical Engineering Department at the Ghana Health Service. He has also worked with the WHO as Technical Officer and Temporary Advisor on Health Technologies for WHO, AFRO, and as a member of the Expert Advisory Group on Health Technologies. Beyond his administrative and advisory roles, he has served on numerous boards and committees, and as an expert on medical devices and health technologies for a number of health projects and programs. His extensive experience and dedication to advancing health technologies make him an exemplary leader and chair for today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, join me with a round of applause to welcome our chairman for today, Dr. Nicholas Ajabu.
Thank you very much. Director General, Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Deputy Director General, Directors and Deputy Directors of Institutes of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Directors and representatives of invited institutions, staff of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, distinguished invited guests, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I deem it an honor to be invited to chair this function as a member of the Radiation Protection Institute board. From medical diagnostics and treatment to industrial application and scientific research, sources of radiation serve a multitude of purposes, all of which rely on robust radiation protection measures. The Radiation Protection Institute, an institute with the responsibility for ensuring radiation safety, and has over the years played a crucial role in safeguarding workers, the public, and the environment from potential hazards of radiation associated with nuclear technology. As we navigate the ever-evolving field of radiation technology with increasing application of radiation in various sectors of the economy, the Radiation Protection Institute's central role in ensuring the safe and responsible use of sources of radiation has become more crucial than ever. There is the need to maximize the benefits whilst minimizing the harms. Hence, the theme for the discussion today, ensuring radiation protection for workers, the public, and environment, the role of the Radiation Protection Institute is paramount. The Radiation Protection Institute commitment to this mission of protecting human health and the environment is evident in its multifaceted approach. And one of them is the research that is undertaken by the Institute. Research scientists at the Radiation Protection Institute are at the forefront of developing new and improved methods for radiation detection, monitoring, and dosimetry. This ongoing pursuit of knowledge is essential for establishing and maintaining the highest safety standards. 2, education and training. Through comprehensive training programs, the Radiation Protection Institute equips workers, health professionals, and emergency responders with necessary skills, and health professionals and emergency responders with knowledge to handle radioactive materials safely and effectively. This investment in human capital is paramount for building a culture of radiation safety. 3, technical services. They provide expertise and services to support radiation safety and all related scientific and technical issues to ensure facilities comply with regulatory requirements. 4, public outreach. Engaging the public in open and transparent communication about radiation safety is a vital is vital. The Radiation Protection Institute's effort in this area foster understanding and trust, which are crucial for fostering public confidence in the safe use of radiation technology. Emerging technologies, such as new medical applications and advancements in nuclear energy, necessitate ongoing research and development in radiation protection strategies. The Radiation Protection Institute continues to adapt and innovate in this rapidly changing landscape. The Radiation Protection Institute Board is committed to supporting Radiation Protection Institute to fulfill its crucial mission and mandate. We will continue to champion the research endeavors, technical services, and educational programs to ensure safe and responsible use of radiation. To conclude, I urge all of us to work together to ensure that the benefits of radiation technology are harnessed responsibly for the betterment of society and the protection of our environment. With these few words, I accept the offer to chair the function. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I didn't know you personally, as a medical doctor, I would have thought that you are a radiation protection expert. And let me inform the House that when the dose limit for the equivalent dose to the lens of the eye was changed from 150 millisieverts to 20 millisieverts by the bond call for action on 13 June 2013. The African version, we have to meet and accept the awareness and the creation. So we met in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And the chairman who just left this place and myself were the people who were sent to Tanzania to represent Ghana. So I am benefiting a little small from the chairman. Maybe I'm a cool chairman. Because we're in Tanzania together. We want to move on. I mentioned that RPI is one of the 7 institutes of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. And the Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission is here. And we want to invite him to give us his welcome address. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Professor Samuel Boakye Dampare.
Thank you very much. The chairman of today's event, Dr. Nicholas Ajebu, the chairman of Radiation Protection Institute Management Board, Professor Sir Justice Dennis Dominic Ajay, members of the Management Board of RPI, the Deputy Director General of GAIC, Professor Dixon Adumakun, Director of RPI, Dr. Eric Glover, Deputy Director of RPI, Professor Stephen Inkum, Directors of Institutes of GAIC and other sister institutes, former directors and deputies of RPI, center managers, staff of RPI and GAIC, former staff of RPI, students, media personnel, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I extend a warm welcome to you all for being here with us today as we undertake another event in commemoration of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission's 60th anniversary celebration. Distinguished guests, as you may be aware, radiation harnessed through various technologies affords us versatile tools that have an important role to play in support of sustainable development. Today, to enhance mankind's livelihood, radiation is being employed in medicine, industry, and academia. In addition, radiation has useful applications in agriculture, telecommunication, archaeology using carbon dating, space exploration, law enforcement, geological resources prospecting and exploitation, including mineral mining and oil exploration, among others. While radiation offers immense benefits for socioeconomic development, it is crucial to acknowledge its potential hazards to humans and the environment and find ways to address them. This is why the theme for today's event, ensuring radiation protection for workers, the public and environment, the role of Radiation Protection Institute, is apt. Ladies and gentlemen, in Ghana, when it comes to radiation safety and nuclear security, the invaluable role of the Radiation Protection Institute of GAIE cannot be overemphasized. The Radiation Protection Institute was established to ensure protection of human health and the environment from any potential hazards of radiation use. The RPI has for long served as the cornerstone and foundation of our national radiation protection framework. Their dedicated team of experts work tirelessly to, one, protect the human health of occupationally exposed workers through comprehensive training programs and provision of technical services that ensure that personnel working with radiation sources are equipped with the knowledge and skills as well as equipment to minimize and monitor their exposure to radiation. Secondly, they work to protect the public through monitoring the spaces accessible to members of the public that adjoin radiation user facilities, as well as studying natural radiation levels in the environment. Still, in the quest to protect the public, they conduct public awareness campaigns to dispel myths and promote an informed understanding of radiation safety. Thirdly, RPI works to protect the environment through environmental monitoring and implementation of robust radioactive waste management protocols to safeguard our environment from potential contamination. Notwithstanding these activities of RPI, ensuring optimal radiation protection in Ghana goes beyond the efforts of the Institute. It requires a collective commitment from all stakeholders. In this regard, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to note that the Institute has a cordial working relationship with many stakeholders, both national and international, in the discharge of its mandate. Furthermore, I'm reliably informed that the Institute's management is working to strengthen such collaborative relations and to secure new ones. Let me put on record that the Commission's management is in full support of mutually beneficial cooperation and encourages more of such. Distinguished guests, on behalf of RPI, let me urge our valued partners, especially in industry and medicine, to uphold the highest safety standards in radiation use. You should endeavor to work closely with the RPI to ensure compliance with regulatory requirements of the Nuclear Regulatory Authority and prioritize continuous training for your staff. Additionally, to the general public, I implore you to embrace the opportunity to learn about radiation. Do not hesitate to seek information from credible sources like the RPI to address any concerns you may have. By working together, ladies and gentlemen, we can build a robust radiation safety framework and safety culture in Ghana. a culture where the benefits of this powerful technology are harnessed responsibly, putting first the well-being of our people and our environment. In this crucial endeavor, Mr. Chairman, the RPI and by extension, GAIC, stand committed to leading the way. We thus invite all of you to join us in creating a safer future for all Ghanaians. Going forward, as can be gleaned from the Commission's 60th anniversary celebration theme, 60 years of impacting society through nuclear science and technology, expanding our frontiers, GAIC is committed to promoting the peaceful utilization of nuclear science and technology to impact all facets of society. This will no doubt increase the utilization of radiation sources and acceptability of the technology in the country. Consequently, I urge the management and staff of the Institute to stand prepared to provide increased technical services at world-class standards to our clients, stakeholders, and the nation as a whole. You may constantly be on the lookout for avenues to keep impacting society. As well, you must be ready to expand the research that you carry out in radiation protection that supports your technical decisions and adds to the body of knowledge for the good of humanity. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me once again warmly welcome you to the School of Nuclear and Allied Sciences at GAIC. That is where we are now. And to this public engagement that promises to be insightful. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Director General of GAIC. So officially, you've all been welcome here. That means you are very safe. Before we move to the next item on the program, we want to acknowledge the presence of the Ghana Health Service represented here today by Stephen Boatin, Mr. Stephen Boatin. Shall we see you, sir? When radiotherapy started in Ghana, the medical physicists arrived first, then the IEA sent an oncologist so the program can start, the treatment of radiation can start. But then the radiographers had not arrived from the training. I mean the therapy radiographers. So we had to go to the diagnostic side to borrow somebody so that we can start the treatment. That person happened to be Mr. Stephen Boatin. Thank you very much. We started cancer treatment with radiation with your help. We also have the representative of EPA, Madam Doris Doshi. Shall we see you? Thank you. Chamber of Mines is also represented here today by Mr. Christian Deborah. Okay. Thank you, sir, for coming. We will skip the overview of the RPI activities. Yes, for now, and rather take solidarity messages from our partners. The first message will come from the National Communications Authority. If you are here, oh yes, so let's welcome him with a big round of applause as he delivers his solidarity message.
Thank you. Good morning. So I'm here representing the Director General of the National Communications Authority, the NCA, Dr. Joe Anochi. I am his deputy, Professor Isa Oseye Boatin, and I'm here with my director for Regulatory Administration, Mr. Kofi Dacha. Kofi, you want to? And also one of your own, Dr. Roland Kudozia, who is a member of the board of RPI. Thank you. So just the message. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, all protocols observed. It is a great honor to stand before you today on behalf of the National Communications Authority, NCA, as we join in celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, GAEC. This milestone is a testament to the enduring impact of nuclear science and technology in our dear nation. And it provides an opportunity to reflect on the significant contributions made by the Radiation Protection Institute, RPI, in enhancing public safety and environmental protection. The theme for this celebration, 60 years of impacting society through nuclear science and technology, expanding our frontiers, and that of today, ensuring radiation protection for workers, the public, and environment, the role of Radiation Protection Institute aptly captures the essence of the invaluable work carried out by GAEC and RPI. Over the years, the Radiation Protection Institute has been a pivotal partner to the NCA, particularly in the areas of radio frequency and electromagnetic field measurements. The expertise provided by the RPI has been instrumental in establishing the NCA's type approval labs, which play a crucial role in ensuring the safety and compliance of communication devices in Ghana. The electromagnetic field EMF lab, a key laboratory within the NCA type approval labs, has the primary objective of ensuring that emissions from RF radiation sources are within the acceptable national limits. This initiative reflects our unwavering commitment to protecting the public from potential health risks associated with RF radiation. The collaboration with the RPI has been invaluable in this regard, providing us with the scientific backing and technical know-how to achieve our goals. Our collaboration with the RPI extends beyond technical support. It encompasses a shared commitment to public safety. When the NCA proposed the formation of an industry working group on electromagnetic field measurements, we found a worthy partner in the RPI. RPI's role as a co-chair of the EMF industry working group underscores its dedication to overseeing the measurements of EMF and enhancing public awareness on these critical issues. The NCA is proud to serve on the RPI board, contributing to the collective efforts to address radiation challenges and devise effective solutions. Additionally, I would like to acknowledge the valuable input of the RPI during the review of the Electronic Communications Tower Guidelines. Their expertise and recommendations have been instrumental in shaping the guidelines to ensure the safe and sustainable deployment of communication towers across the country, thereby safeguarding public health and the environment. Moreover, I must highlight the collaborative research efforts between RPI scientists and NCA engineers on specific absorption rate, SAR. This research has been crucial in understanding and mitigating the the impact of RF radiation on human health, ensuring that our regulatory frameworks are grounded in rigorous scientific evidence and aligned with international safety standards. As the RPI hosts this public lecture and panel discussion on enhancing radiation protection for workers, the public, and the environment, the role of the RPI, we are reminded of the critical importance of radiation protection in our daily lives. The insights and knowledge that would be shared today will undoubtedly contribute to a comprehensive understanding of radiation challenges and the development of innovative solutions. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of the National Communications Authority, I extend our heartfelt congratulations to the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission and the Radiation Protection Institute on this momentous occasion. Your dedication to advancing nuclear science and technology and your unwavering commitment to public safety continue to inspire and guide us. We look forward to our continued collaboration, working together to ensure a safer and more secure environment for all Ghanaians. Thank you, and may the next 60 years be filled with even greater achievements and advancements in the field of nuclear science and technology. Congratulations once again, and may the celebration be resounding success. Thank you.
And may the celebration be resounding. Let's give him a resounding applause. Thank you very much, Professor Eze Osei Yeboah Boatin, representing the NCA. Now we'll take a solidarity message from the Nuclear Regulatory Authority and from one professor to the next. Professor Fanu is here. Shall we welcome him with a big round of applause again? Prof.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. So I bring you greetings from the Nuclear Regulatory Authority, and on behalf of the board and management, we wish to thank the RPI, and for that matter, the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission for this important event they've organized. The DG, Dr. Nia Alote, apologizes for his inability to be here because he's engaged in other commitments. So I'm representing him. So, on behalf of the Nuclear Regulatory Authority, I wish to thank the RPI, and for that matter, GAIC, for the invitation extended to NRA to make this statement on public engagement on radiation protection and on the theme, ensuring radiation protection for workers, the public, the environment, the role of RPI in this regard. When you look at the theme of this public engagement and the need for it to educate the public on radiation protection issues, the public are an important stakeholder so far as this field is concerned, because we are in this field because of their interests, which is public safety in the area of use of radiation. So indeed, we consider it an important feat, and we believe that at the end of this event, it will bring up a better understanding of the issues of radiation, because we know that there are several benefits we derive from the use of radiation. But despite these benefits, the hazards are also real. And that is why we see it as an important feat that the RPI is embarking on. It's also worth noting that the team also fit very well into the main mandate of the Nuclear Regulatory Authority, which is to ensure that humans and the environment are protected from the harmful effect of radiation. So sometimes people get confused for that matter, what is the role of RPI and what is the role of Nuclear Regulatory Authority. We are all the same partners, seeking to achieve the same goal, but different mandates. That we should clearly know from the onset. So like I said before, the benefits associated with the use are enormous, as earlier been enumerated by other speakers, particularly the DG of GAIC. And despite these benefits, we need to take into account the hazards associated with them. And therefore, the necessary for radiation measures and controls to be implemented, and this is the main mandate of the Nuclear Regulatory Authority. However, it is worth noting that the NRA cannot do it all by himself or by herself. We need the support of partners and stakeholders. And RPI and GAIC is one of the key stakeholders, are considered rather strategic partners. Because their role is merely to provide technical support to our clients on what they need to do to be able to comply with the regulatory requirements. In that regard, the RPI, one of the public institutions that has been authorized by the NRA to provide some key technical support services and advisory services to all clients or anybody who intend to use radiation in the country. Notably among this is to provide training in radiation protection and safety. Because the people working in the industry, one of the key requirements for you to get a license is that you must have the needed competent staff to do your work. Otherwise, you can't get a license. Therefore, the training provided by RPI is to equip them with the know-how on how to use these technologies. But the emphasis here is not on the technical aspect of the technology, but radiation protection and safety. Another area they also are licensed to operate is to provide dosimetry service. Yes, people will be working with these devices and sources. They will get exposed to radiation. How do we know how much radiation they get exposed to? It's only when they measure with a device. Therefore, RPI again is licensed by the authority to provide this service to clients. And it's also one of the key requirements that if I come to a facility to authorize you, to inspect you, and you do not have monitoring budget for your staff, I'm sorry, you cannot get a license. Then another area is calibration of the survey meters that they use for measuring radiation. Radiation cannot be seen with the eyes. We can't smell it, we can't feel it. The only means of measuring is what? Using a device. And therefore, want to be sure that that device is in good working order. And it's only when it is calibrated, then you can be sure that the results that we are turning out is accurate. Last but not the least, radioactive waste management. We are using radiation sources all over the country. Over 600. People might not know. At the end of the working life, you cannot just manage it like any conventional waste. There are laws and regulations on how this should be done. And again, the Radiation Protection Institute is the main public institution in the country that has been authorized by the Nuclear Regulatory Authority to collect sources that are disused, store them, and manage them further until they get to the further end of disposal. So with all this, you can see that before the Nuclear Regulatory Authority can grant a license to an individual, we will need such partners because we can't do it alone. That is why we consider them as very strategic partners. It is also worth noting that the above are some of the key requirements. Dosimetry service, qualified personnel, having calibrated survey meters are key requirements that we look out for as a regulator before you can get a license to operate. Therefore, it is important to know that the unique role of RPI is to provide technical support and advisory service to all clients who intend to use radiation, whilst that of the Nuclear Regulatory Authority is to ensure that every radiation source or device is brought under regulatory control. And therefore, for you to get an authorization to use that device or source, you have to go through what we call an authorization process, which includes notification authorization, review and assessment, inspection. The outcome of the inspection is now what will determine whether you get an authorization, a certificate to use the source or not. So that is what we mean by what? Authorization process. This is why we view this engagement very important, and therefore wish to thank RPI once again for bringing all of us here together as important stakeholders for the purpose of educating the public so that at the end of the day, the understanding of radiation issues will be brought to the doorstep of every individual in this country, with the ultimate aim that to ensure that every human being is protected adequately from radiation hazard. So with that, I say thank you and congratulations for this important achievement.
Thank you very much, Prof. I noticed that you use this platform and spoke a lot about NRA. So from here, we'll give you an invoice. We'll give you an invoice. But you stress on the fact that RPI is a strategic partner, and they provide services like dosimetry services. They have to calibrate survey meters. They have to do all of that, because you indicated much earlier that the hazards are real. And indeed, it is real. Thank you very much, and just be waiting for your invoice after this program. Thank you. I've been reliably informed that in our midst we have some few personalities I will want to introduce. Dr. Roland Y. Kodoji is with the NCA. Kudoji. Kudozia. Forgive me, sir, but we want to see you, sir, all the same. Thank you. We also have, is it Prince Tufuo of Ministry of Health is here with us? Yes, hiding at the back there, okay. Dr. Emmanuel Akrobotu, NRA, is also here with us. Yes, there he goes. Edmond Obriabua, ATC Ghana. Yes? Okay. I can't see you, sir. Oh, there you go. Thanks. Adongo Zita, Ghana Chamber of Mines. Here? You want to rise so we can see you from here? Okay, thank you. Christian Deborah, Chamber of Mines, is also here with us. Bless Yaira Daku, MOH. Ah, good. And former director of RPI, and then former director of NRA, Professor Emi Reynolds is here. Shall we see you, sir? Yeah, there he goes. We also have Joseph K. Amwako, Professor. You are with SNAS, but you used to be with RPI. Shall I see you? We also have Mr. Francis Boyoboete, BFT, you with the press. And then, yes, as and when the new names comes, we will mention them. Thank you very much. We will now take the solidarity message from the Ghana Society of Radiographers. I'm sure you are represented by Dennis A. here, if I'm right. Yes. Shall we give him a big round of applause? Dennis is here with us.
morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me to proceed on exiting protocols. I bring you warm greetings from the Ghana Society of Radiographers, and I address you today on behalf of the great pride and a deep sense of responsibility. I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to stand in solidarity with you on this significant occasion. The Ghana Atomic Energy Commission is celebrating its 60th anniversary. Hip hip. And congratulations for achieving this tremendous and incredible milestone. Your contribution to nuclear science and technology has been invaluable and recognized worldwide. During these remarkable 6 decades, our GAEC is acknowledged for taking excellent initiatives, pioneering leadership, and to ensure and promote safe use of nuclear science and technology in Ghana and beyond. Radiographers are therefore proud to be associated with this great institution and consequently congratulate all staff of GAEC on the Diamond Jubilee. To intimate in this association is the Association of Radiographers and GAEC that the theme for today's lecture, Enhancing Radiation Protection for Workers, the Public, and the Environment, the role of the Radiation Protection Institute, appears to be meant for us. In our routine use of radiation for research and health benefits, we strive for utmost safety with a higher sense of responsibility towards ourselves and other healthcare staff, the public, and of course, the environment. With the ever-increasing use of radiation sources in the practice of radiography in Ghana, we must collaboratively work efficiently towards guaranteeing the safety of everyone and the environment. Since radiation workers are knowledgeable about the effects of radiation, they tend to naturally ensure their safety first. The question is, to what extent do we ensure protection of other members of the public and the environment? From radiography that allows early and accurate diagnosis and to the treatment of cancer patients, and to agricultural innovations, to energy solutions, the contributions of nuclear technology are vast and impactful. With these technological advancements comes a significant responsibility to ensure the safety and protection of all who interact and are affected by radiation. The RPI over the years played critical roles, which could be described as multifaceted and includes research and development activities to create protocols and guidelines, educating, training, and public awareness in efforts to empower, demystify, and ensure the safety of all. It is therefore our collective responsibility as radiographers and other healthcare workers and citizens of our beloved country to enhance and ensure safety protection, to ensure radiation protection and safety. We must collaborate, share knowledge, and support initiatives that promote safety and innovation. We must advocate continuously improving safety standards and support the RPI's efforts. As we celebrate the impact of nuclear science and technology, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to supporting initiatives that prioritize radiation protection, safety, and sustainability. We stand in solidarity with all stakeholders, working tirelessly to promote the responsible use of nuclear technology and ensure a safer use for all. Together, we can create a safer environment where the benefits of nuclear technology are maximized whilst minimizing the risks to workers, the public, and the environment. In so doing, we project and implement the principles of radiation protection. Let us champion the cause of radiation protection with dedication, integrity, and a unified vision for a better future. On receiving the invitation to this event, I've been thinking, where exactly does our used and discarded X-ray equipment, radiography equipment, radiation therapy equipment, and other sources, where are they how are they disposed when they finally die and leave the hospital settings? Radiographers and RPIs must be collectively interested in this. Hopefully, the panel discussion will delve into this as well. We radiographers consider RPI and that matter GAEC as a major stakeholder in the practice of radiography in Ghana. Despite the introduction of other companies in the radiation protection and monitoring of radiographers, RPI still remains a major role in this. In wishing you a happy Diamond Jubilee, it's a call of radiographers that RPI, GAEC, and Ghana Society of Radiographers will collaborate more to enhance radiation protection for everyone and the environment for the next decades to come. Let's work together for safety and protection. Happy 60th anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dennis. You raised so many important questions, so I want to believe that the panel discussion will look at those questions. All the X-ray equipment, all the past cobalt machines that have been discarded, where are they? Where did they go? Dennis is asking all these questions, but he said that there should be more collaboration and cooperation. Thank you very much, the Ghana Society of Radiographers. A few other people have joined us, and we want to introduce them. Engineer Dr. Ken Ashigbe is with the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications. Where is, oh, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Thank you. We also have Mr. Kofi Dacha of National Communication Authority. Oh, you're sitting right in front of me. Thank you, sir. We also have Mr. Duke Opon of the Ghana Chamber of Mines. It's hiding somewhere? Okay. So this is the time. Before then, there's one more message, solidarity message from the Chrysos Corporation Limited. Are they here? Okay, it doesn't look like Chrysos Corporation is here. In that case, we move on to the overview of RPI activities. RPI, all the activities you've been undertaking, so I'm sure you start showing it to us. Thank you very much.
The Radiation Protection Institute is one of the 7 institutes of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. It was established to work in the area of radiation protection to ensure the protection of human health and the environment from radiation. It is a scientific as well as a technical supporting organization. It therefore carries out research activities and provides scientific and technical support service in the area of health physics, occupational radiation protection, public exposure control, nuclear safety and security, and non-ionizing radiation protection. It has obtained the relevant authorization from the Nuclear Regulatory Authority to carry out these technical services. It also collaborates with other state institutions to shape the national radiation protection policies in the country. In order to carry out these tasks, the Radiation Protection Institute is structured into 5 technical scientific centers, namely the Health Physics Center, the Environmental Radiation Protection Center, Nuclear Safety and Security Center, the Waste Management Center, and the Radiation Protection Training and Consultancy Center. These centers comprise of scientists and technologists with well-defined programs and activities.
The Nuclear Safety and Security Center has positioned itself to be a strong force worthy for the provision of services and research activities. Some of our research strength has lied in the development of the awareness and advocacy in the need for the protection of the materials that we work with at radiological facilities and at nuclear facilities. We have in the past conducted the Search and Secure projects with the Office of Radiological Security of the United States of America, held training sessions, and of course completed the complete awareness of the advocacy for companies such as Conship and Amandi Limited. Some of these advanced companies are stakeholders in our industry, assisting in the transport and maintenance of the need to protect these materials of concern. We are on the quest to make sure that we bring these peaceful applications to the doorstep of all stakeholders and make sure that the adaptation of the culture needed for protection is well adapted. So we have done this and we can do better. So our laboratory, the Physical Protection Laboratory, the advocacy in the security culture is one of the key areas that we have actually promoted in our past. We know that this is a big challenge, especially for a developing country like ours. So we make sure that this is well advanced and as yet well adaptable for the people of Ghana. The Republic of Ghana depends on us, so we've positioned ourselves to deliver. Our quest now is to make sure that all of this is well adapted by the Ghanaian populace. Protection is key for us, and we shall protect the people who have signed on to work with and deal with the handling, the use, and storage of the radiological materials and nuclear materials that are of key advancement in the technologies that are well adapted worldwide. This is what we seek to promote, and we shall deliver.
The Environmental Radiation Protection Center, which is one of the 5 technical centers of the Radiation Protection Institute. The Institute is involved in environmental radiation protection for protecting people and the environment from ionizing radiation. As the name goes, the main activities of this center include radiological water safety assessment, environmental assessment, food contamination tests, mostly for import and export, and natural or radioactive material assessment for industrial processes that involve particularly in oil and gas industry as well as mining and processing industries. Yes, most of these activities either are a way to complement regulatory compliance for various industrial processes or to serve as research and development to protect overall public safety and the population of the country. Regarding to current main activities or projects that has been embarked on within the last 2 years, we've embarked on research to ensure overall public protection in the area of water quality and in the Bono region, assessing the Tano River and its access to public points, as well as general groundwater that is used by the public to ensure they are drinking water quality in terms of its radiological aspect. We've also embarked on projects like assessing, putting up the first NOM repository, which is in a PhD research, to ensure that waste that comes from this oil and gas industries as well as mining companies will have a way of properly being disposed of. Additionally, the lab is, the center is equipped with the Radon Lab, which is one of the best equipment so far only in Africa, the only facility in Africa, which is used to complement indoor radon assessment for dwellings, as well as in mines underground, where its confined space and ventilation are not well, and most cases radon is prevalent in such areas. So all this we do to overall ensure that the public is safe when it comes to ionizing radiation in the environment, and then also to assist those stakeholders in most cases to meet regulatory compliance as demanded of them by the Nuclear Regulatory Authority.
The Radioactive Waste Management Center was established by the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission in 1995 to manage all the radioactive waste that are generated in Ghana in a safe and secured manner to protect human health and the environment, so that we don't impose undue or unnecessary pressure on future generation in terms of the hazards that are associated with these hazardous waste. So currently, the center provides technical or commercial activities to various clients that use radioactive materials in their practices. and most of our clients are essentially from the industry. So when you talk of industry, we are talking of the construction industry, oil and gas industry, the mining industry, breweries. So most of them use the radioactive material in the form of sealed radioactive sources. So once they get disused, they pass through the Nuclear Regulatory Authority and then transfer custody to the radioactive waste management. That's if they are unable to return those disused sealed radioactive sources back to the country of origin or the suppliers. So once we receive all those radioactive waste, we then go through a series of management processes to take care of this waste, handle every aspect of waste up to the point of disposal. Currently, we are undertaking the borehole disposal system project, which is the ultimate option that we are considering to permanently dispose all radioactive waste that are in our custody, which, like I said earlier, are predominantly disused sealed radioactive sources. But prior to carrying out the disposal, we go through some management steps that we call pre-disposal. So when we receive the waste from the generators, we first of all identify key properties about the waste, which we call characterization using appropriate instrument. So the information we get, we compare it to whatever document that accompanies the waste from the generator. Then once everything is in place, we temporarily store those wastes at our centralized radioactive waste management facility, which is located on the GAEC site.
I am Dr. Philip Datana, the manager of the Health Physics Center Radiation Protection Institute. Within the Radiation Protection Institute, there are about 5 technical centers, and Health Physics is one of the technical centers. Now, within the Health Physics, there are departments that falls under the center. These departments are the Secondary Standard Dosimetry Laboratory, simply called SSDL. We have the Non-Ionizing Radiation Safety Department. We also have the Personnel Dosimetry Services. And then finally, the Equipment and Repair Maintenance Units. Under the SSDL, which is the Secondary Standard Dosimetry Laboratory, we perform the following services. Calibration of equipment. This is a practice that is to ensure that all the equipment within the country which are used in the radiation fields are calibrated such that they meet international standards. SSDL is traceable to a primary standard just to maintain that, sure that the standards are well maintained and such that people who use this equipment can be accurately monitored. The SSDL also perform other activities. It is a center of excellence for training students within our institution, the Graduate School of Nuclear and Allied Sciences. We receive fellows from our sister African countries who comes here and be trained in order to upgrade their knowledge base. We also receive experts who also comes here to participate in training of other participants within IAEA's scope of workshop and training. Under the SSDL also, we participate in an intercomparison exercise, which also is a very important exercise, just to make sure that we compare very well with other sister SSDL or network of SSDL within our region and beyond. When it comes to the field of radiation protection, we expose radiation all over, all around us. In order to ensure that those who are actually working in these areas, who are occasionally exposed to these radiation fields, are well protected and monitored, we provide these services. These services intend to estimate the radiation dose one is exposed to, such that when there's an incident in the future, experts can rely on this data to make sure that it's as a result of your work or otherwise. So this is a service we provide, which is very important, and we keep record for so long, about 70 years, even when you are dead and gone, just to make sure that you can work comfortably, and in case of anything, we can provide evidence. Within the non-ionizing radiation, we perform the following services. We make sure that this mobile telephony antennas, complaints from the people who stay within the vicinity of these antennas, and emission from these antennas are well within standards. So we go around with our state-of-the-art equipment, spectrum analyzers, and our well-trained staff to conduct safety assessments on these fields to ensure that they are well protected. We compare our standard to international standards to meet regulatory compliance. And when it comes to this area for the base station monitoring, EPA is our regulator in this space. Within the non-analyzing, we also perform light safety assessment where we make sure lights such as ordinary light bulbs in our rooms, light intensity in our rooms, UV radiations, we'll be able to monitor and then advise as to the optimum emission level which is suitable to protect our visions, our eyes, when it comes to radiation exposure. Because when it comes to radiation, one thing we forget is that light is a source of radiation which we are exposed to. We are much concerned about mobile base station and the like, but light is one that we are always exposed to, which must be regulated. So we make sure that we are able to estimate and advise the optimal radiation intensity one is supposed to expose to in an office space or within the environment. We also make sure those who live within high tension, extremely low frequency fields, we call ELFs, are also well protected. So we perform services in these areas such as ECG, grid core transmission lines, etc., to make sure that the exposure there are within the recommended. Otherwise, we advise the occupancy to vacate those areas. In order to make sure our equipment are in shape and well maintained, we have a final department or a department that deals with repairs and maintenance of these equipment. So these units or departments make sure all the equipment within the institutes are well maintained and well protected when it comes to maintenance and service related. So within the health visiting center, these are all very important services we provide just to ensure that radiation protection of the people and the environment is well achieved.
My name is Dr. Francis Otu, the manager of Radiation Protection Training and Consultancy Center. This center deals with training, safety assessments, as well as drafting technical document for the authorization for licensee operators looking for authorization from Nuclear Regulatory Authority. When we come to the training, what we have been doing is that we have been normally organized national training for radiographers for every year that we have been going. This year, we are going to have it in October. So we definitely send a lot of information and advert into the facilities and then associated hospitals and then also Ghana Health Service. And then when it comes to the training, the main target of the training is for occupationally radiation exposed workers. And this target covers industrial and the medical. And industrial involves mines, oil and gas, road constructions, and then also NDT, non-destructive testing the workers. So what the training does is that the training teaches them how to handle radiation sources and also understand the risks associated with radiation that they are working with it. So with this training that we have been doing is to do only for the radiographers, X-ray technicians, and then also engineers. But then based on the output that we are having, we have decided by next year, we are going to start the medical training, but not only focus on X-ray or radiographers, neither the engineers. But now, the target is going to be the managers, administrators, those in charge of the hospital. The reason being is that most of the issue we are getting that the information doesn't get to the managers or the administrators or heads of the hospitals. So sometimes it's very difficult for them to attend this. And so what we are going to tackle them first to create awareness for these managers and heads of the hospital. The reason is that so when they understand, they will truly appreciate why the training is very important for the X-ray technicians, radiographers, because they are the people that we call it occupational exposed workers. These are they are working directly with the X-rays. So that will be very important. And then we're also trying to expand this training to cover every aspect of Ghana. So what we have been doing, we only done all this training in Accra. But next year, we are going to move outside our comfort, that is Accra. We are trying to have one in western part and as well as northern part. We are even targeted to have it in Kumasi or Takrady so that we can get those hospitals very close, and as well as those in the north, everything in Kumasi, and from there we see the way forward.
Advancement in nuclear science and technology has opened a new horizon in radiation application in medical practices, agric, research, and industrial activities in the country. In order for us to derive the maximum benefits, we need a very strong radiological safety culture to enable us to derive the maximum benefit from these practices and minimize the harm. The Radiation Protection Institute, with the aim of being recognized as a leading national, international institute of excellence in radiation protection, will continue to adopt and innovate strategies to ensure that these technologies continue to benefit mankind. The Institute will continue to improve its infrastructure to ensure public health, occupational, and environmental safety in the country. To do this, we need a closer collaboration and effective partnership with our development partners and state and industry. Together, we can build a very strong radiological safety culture in the country. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our clients for patronizing our services over the years and promise them of our continued dedicated services to ensure safety of their workers, a friendly working environment, and also assist them in obtaining or managing all their regulatory requirements. May the good Lord continue to bless us all, bless our whole land Ghana, and make us great and strong.
I want to believe that you want to clap some more. Thank you, RPI, for putting all what you do within the time frame that we ask you to do that. Thank you for that. There are some few personalities here that we cannot gloss over. We need to introduce them. The Deputy Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission has been here with us since we started. Professor Dixon Adomaku, shall we see you, sir? I cannot see you. Okay, now there he is. We also have the Director of RPI, Dr. Eric Tete Glover. Shall we see? Director of NNIR, Dr. Ganyaglo is also here with us. Director of Ramsey, Professor Francis Hasford. Shall we acknowledge your presence here? Acting Director of Nuclear Power Institute, Dr. Archibald Kofi is also here. Oh, there you. Good. We also have the Director of Binary, Professor Michael Osai. Shall we acknowledge your presence here? We also have the Deputy Director of Ramsey, Dr. Theodosia Adom. Director of Administration for GAEC, Mr. William Srekuma is also here with us. There you are. We have the Director of Human Resources, Lord Oyeboa. We also have the Deputy Director of Binary, Dr. Fidelis Oklu, is also hiding over there. Okay, there you are. And then we have the Head of Legal Office of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Mrs. Bridget Enusen. Where is Bridget? Oh, yeah, thanks. The next part of this program will be the panel discussion, where we'll be talking about radiation. And my co-moderator will do the moderation. He's, I would say he's a man with loads of experience in brand marketing, brand communication, marketing, business development, and brand strategy. He had held several managerial positions across different industries, including the beverage industry, fast-moving consumer goods, otherwise called the FMCG, telecommunications industry, etc. His career has taken him to work in other countries, including Nigeria, Kenya, and the UK. He has worked at PZ Cuisines, Guinness Ghana Limited, Casapreco Limited. When I mention Guinness and Casapreco, some of you are... We will talk about that later. He also worked with the Charter House, etc. Currently, he's the Director of Commercialization and Communication for Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, our moderator for the dialogue will be Nana Boatin. Where is Nana Boatin? Shall we see Nana? Okay, so Nana, please take over for me.
Yes, thank you very much, Theophilus. You know, as part of our commercialization activities in Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, we have an MC for rent. So for those who want to rent an MC, please, a round of applause for our MC, Dr. Theophilus Saki. He's done very well. Yeah. You know, the exposure to radiation beyond certain levels can be termed very harmful to humans. So it is important that this radiation that we cannot see with our eyes is monitored and used safely for the general good of mankind. So we need a collaboration to develop and build a culture of radiation protection. So today we have assembled some of our most important stakeholders whose activities are concerned with radiation to discuss radiation and how we can collaborate and ensure protection and safety from radiation. So without much ado, I would want to invite the following personnel to join us here upstage. Let's arrange our chairs a bit effectively. So, with a round of applause, shall we welcome Dr. Engineer Kenneth Ashigbe, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications. Please, have a seat. Thank you very much. Shall we also invite from the Environmental Protection Agency, Ms. Doris Dushi. She is the Deputy Director. A round of applause, please. Please join Engineer Ken. We shall also invite a private consultant with the Ghana Health Service, Mr. Stephen Boatin, with a round of applause. Shall we also invite from the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Mr. C. Deborah. A round of applause, please. Finally, but not the least, we shall invite our host, the director for the Radiation Protection Institute of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Dr. Eric Tete Glover, with a round of applause. So this conversation promises to be very interesting. We will try our best to break it down to our levels, especially those of us who don't understand all the jargons that I've mentioned in initial speeches. We'll try and break it down for public understanding. And so get your questions ready. There will be time for questions and answers as well. Our dear panelists, our dear lady and gentlemen, welcome and good morning to you. Please try your microphones for me, just to make sure they are working. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let me begin from you, Director of RPI. There is a lot that have been said in the video that was shown to us. But then break it down for us in simple terms. From the general public point of view, what do you do for the people of Ghana? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. And good morning to you all. Yes, the Radiation Protection Institute, as was said in the video, was established foremost to ensure protection of human health environment from the effects of radiation. So all we do is to put measures to ensure that users of radioactive materials are protected. So we start from training. That's as part of the regulatory requirements, helping to train. So train the staff of the facilities, because they are going to use radiation. We don't know it is, so we train them the principles of radiation protection so that they'll be able to understand and then be able to use it. Okay. We also do assessments for the facilities they are going to use. We do assessment of the facilities to ensure that the design of the buildings and etc. meets requirements. So all we do is to ensure that people understand what is radiation is, what are the risks, and how do we mitigate it. So these are the general things we do, ensuring protection of human health and environment.
Thank you very much. And so we've been talking about collaboration, and currently we have empaneled some of your stakeholders, or stakeholders that work with RPI. But then we also hear from them. I want to speak with Mr. Stephen Watson from Ghana Health Service. Radiation protection for medical staff and patients is a legal requirement for all radiological installations, including hospitals and diagnostic centers. My question is, how safe are workers and patients in the hospital in the current dispensation of our hospitals?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. We are somehow safe. Implementing radiation protection measures in our hospitals is very expensive. It needs a lot of money. So I was very happy when the last presenter on training, I think it's training, mentioned that during the next training, they want to involve managers. Yes, when managers are involved, then when the workers, radiographers, are talking or are insisting on implementation of good radiation protection measures, then they will appreciate it. Because, like I said, it's very expensive. So managers have got their equipment. They have got an equipment installed, very expensive equipment. Then you come about mentioning other things which are equally expensive. When you need a lead apron, one single lead apron costs so much money. When you need TLDs, the monitors, they are very expensive. And then the monitoring, the charges that will come are also very expensive. So managers try to manage their money. And in managing their money, it goes against the implementation of proper RPI, radiation protection measures. So that's what I would say for now. But somehow we are safe, but not fully safe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boate. Well, we'll come there to delve into details on what can be done to, especially the challenges that you are clearly mentioning. Attention is to be given to such situations. But nice to hear from you. I want to move to Environmental Protection Agency and speak to Ms. Doris. You know, the protection of the environment is one of the cornerstones of sustainable development. From the EPA's point of view, how do you find Ghana in terms of monitoring our radiation from the environmental protection point of view and implementing some of our protection laws?
Thank you very much. EPA, as we stand for protecting the environment, our core mandate, which is protecting the environment. It's a huge responsibility, as we all know, but we don't try to do that alone. We ensure that we bring on board all the stakeholders involved in each particular sector. In this regard, we are talking of radiation. So all stakeholders involved in this sector, NCA, the telecommunication companies, RPI, which is also a key stakeholder, all comes on board, and then we ensure that the environment is managed adequately. So one of the measures we do is to monitor. Monitoring of projects, especially in the telecommunications sector, which is the telecom mast. We try to involve the telcos and RPI, which comes in to do monitoring for us. So they help us know the emission levels at what we are dealing with. These levels help us to know what kind of measures to develop in terms of protecting the environment. So in a nutshell, we try to collaborate with all stakeholders, come on board, and then be able to reason together, to deal with radiation issues.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Doris. Engineer, telecommunications. In fact, this is a field that have a lot of, some level of controversy. I used to work in Vodafone, and when the 5G technology emerged, we saw videos on social media of people pulling down masts. Some were saying the world is coming to an end. 5G was a signal that the world was coming to an end, and stuff like that. You hear people in communities agitating that we are giving them cancer because we are mounting masts in their community and stuff like that. And all this information were in public domain. I rightly identify that for lack of education, for lack of knowledge, it's brought about some of this agitation. From the Chamber's point of view, I mean the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunication, what are we doing to, properly fix public perception of radiation in terms of providing telecommunication services?
So thank you very much. It's good you mentioned the 5G conversation. Ghana, we are yet to go 5G, but people were saying that COVID was as a result of 5G. And we know all the things that happened with it. It is interesting to note that when motor cars were coming in earlier on, there was, in the UK in the 18th century, before any motor car would move, there was somebody who stood in front of the motor car with a red flag saying that, this is danger coming. So the challenge has been the issues of lack of a proper understanding of it. The good thing is that we've had the RPI in Ghana, an independent body, measuring radiations, and the interesting thing is that if you look at the International Commission of Non-Ionization Radiation, their standards that they give, over the last, from 2010 up till now, the highest we have had, which is almost an aberration in the numbers, was about 10.21%. The standard is 100%, but we're measuring 10.21% in Ghana. Most of our numbers have been around 2.5, 1.8. So the level of radiation, non-ionizing, and again, it's important to note that these are non-ionizing radiation that are emitted from these masts that are really high up in the air, are really way below the standards that have been set globally. The good thing is that beyond the RPI, we also have the NCA currently who are measuring that. So not only have our benchmarks been set internationally, but there are measurements that have been done locally, over the period that have shown that the level of radiations are really low. your microwave that you have sitting in your home. And you know, Doc, when we had the conversation about even light itself, you know, is worse than what we're getting here. And because also of the fact that we realize the fact that you're dealing with non-ionizing radiation and the protection that is taken, even by our workers, who have to climb and go very high up these masts, there's deliberate action that is being taken. So we need to do a lot of education around this. Because sometimes, yes, some people don't have the information, and so they would use some of these issues. But sometimes, too, it's also because of the no-co-fuel that is surrounding it more than the radiation. So you go into a community and people are agitating, I don't want the mast here. It's because the mast is not in this house, you know, and so somebody else is taking the rent. You know, so there are other issues that come into play. But it is important that we continue to educate our people, let people understand, you know, the challenges around it. Even your phone itself. When you get your phones, the battery levels very low, and you're using them, the dangers with them. So there's a lot of education that we're doing that we'll continue to do. And the good thing is that working closely together with RPI, that really has pushed it, and we need to continue pushing it. Otherwise, because you see, the interesting thing is 5G is going to come. Densification is going to happen. The towers are going to come closer, but the radiation powers are going to go lower. If you don't explain that to people, those who don't understand, you know, will be agitating, and then what will happen is that our quest to leapfrog using technology might suffer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, now let's go into the mines and then find out whether our workers who go down the mines are safe from radiation. They employ technology that have radiation sources. You know, how safe are they from exposure? Mr. Deborah.
Thank you. Let me make a confession before I start. I started here, so in the presence of vice professors, I'm a novice, so take it there.
Great, welcome back home.
Prof. Emirinos, good morning, Saki morning. In the mining industry, we have, I think, three possible sources of radiation. The X-rays that we use at our hospitals. We use cesium-137 to measure density, and then the naturally occurring radioactive materials, which happens to be in the rock if your rock contains that. How do you know that your rock contains norms? You need to measure. So for surface mines, it's not a bit of a problem, but the underground mine where a rock which has been down 3 kilometers, you bring it up. You don't know what is in there. So what we do is that we determine the norms in these rocks, courtesy RPI, not RPB again, RPI. So you need to know if you have it there, but fortunately for Ghana, it looks like the norms are very low to the best of my knowledge. So for now, apart from the X-rays and the cesium sources of density meters, we don't have much of radioactive materials in the mining industry. But the mining industry, if it's there, safety is our #1 priority in any mining industry. And as my friend the hospital is saying, when it comes to safety in the mining industry, we don't think about cost. We do whatever it takes to provide the needed protection for our workers to work safely.
Thank you very much. Now, Director RPI, in terms of educating the public, so that when your stakeholders like the telecommunication industry, even the media, the TV and radio stations who use masts and stuff like that, what are some of the activities you do to ensure that the public is being informed about the right information about radiation and the measures being taken, especially from the type of activities that you do?
Thank you. Yes, for the education, first we do it in collaboration with the stakeholders. For example, as Dr. Engineer Shikwe said, we do it in collaboration with them. Today in the EPA, actually they do mount the they do the organization, and we go in to do the education. So we normally provide the education because we have the knowledge to explain. So they do the organizations, and we do that. They also use the opportunity to training of the workers who come to us, to train them, to give them the awareness, for them to know the dangers. So we do the form of other awareness there. And as the colleague, Ghana Health Service said, we down in the managers because we realize that it's a challenge. We've done this training over the years for staff, but without taking of the managers because they are the ones who pay. So if they don't understand and you send a report to them, there are recommendations. They need to work on the recommendations. They throw it away because they don't understand why I need to do this. And the most important is the cost factor as mentioned. So that's why we are trying to take that education also to the management level to give them awareness, not detailed as we do the training for others. We have 5 days training or so. But for managers can be half day or a day for them to understand why they need to protect staff, etc. So that's what we do in the public awareness. As I said, we don't do the front. The organization's done, and we do go in to do the talking.
Thank you very much. Now, I want to throw in a general question for all our panelists to share their opinion on this. We all admit that radiation protection is key. The public must be well informed. We must develop and build a culture of radiation safety. What can we do further for effective collaboration among all stakeholders to ensure and enhance radiation protection and safety for our citizens? What can we do further in terms of collaboration? In fact, what we're doing here today is very beautiful, but I believe more can be done. From the various offices we sit, what can we do? Let me start from engineer. Yes.
So thank you very much. So the conversation about education and awareness is the first bit, and already that we do in collaboration with the RPI. There's one that we're even planning together with the EPA as well. But there's a big one that the NCA is championing, bringing together all the relevant stakeholders and even the consumer societies. We're hoping that will be, accelerated. It's really important that as we strive to push for our technological advancement, we carry the people along with us, because that's really, really very important. We need to bring the assemblies also into the domain. And it's important that when we do this, to dispel some of the conspiracy theories that are there, we make it a lot more scientific based. Unfortunately, data is available. Now, as I said, RPI has been collecting this data forever. The NCA is also collecting that data. So that data, we need to explain it in simple terms. The media is also going to be really, really very critical in all of this so that they can explain it, in as much as we say that we're doing some protection, we need to also let people know that some of the responsibility, we also owe some responsibility ourselves in the things that we need to do. And so that we don't take the wrong perceptions to prevent the right things from being done, and rather, take the ignorance to allow some other things that would be detrimental to our health. So we need to constantly, do the stakeholder engagement and to be able to ensure that the message can get to our people. We need to break it down. Unfortunately, we don't teach science in our local languages, but we need to find a way of breaking it down into the local languages so that our people also can understand it and then be able to take the necessary steps and then also be welcoming in areas that they need to be welcoming.
Thank you very much. Mr. Doris, from EPA.
So, to add a few to what he has said, awareness creation is very important. We can ensure that engaging the public, we try to simplify most of the information we package to them, and also try to be consistent with whatever we give with regards to the various institutions. It's like one institution goes and says another thing, the other goes and says a different thing, and then it creates a problem within the public. So we need to be together to know what message we are putting across there. So that is key. And also we need to also build our own capacities as institutions, inter-collaboration with various institutions, coming together, building the capacity that is required. I think this is key so that we can be able to, go out there, and then also engaging the media, trying to use them mostly, the channels that we have, going on educating the public. I think we have been far from the public, and this time around we need to come together and make a conscious effort and then get the information down. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Watson.
I would say whenever we currently throughout Ghana, even at the district level, you get at least a basic X-ray equipment. So I would say when the procurement is being made to purchase or install an X-ray equipment anywhere, apart from just getting the equipment, we have to take care of radiation protection measures, like preparation of the rooms, room shielding, lead aprons, personnel dosimetry, and those items. Like I said before, these are very expensive, but they have to be added to just getting the raw X-ray machine. So it's very, very important. Then secondly, training of personnel. Then training of personnel, being a radiographer and knowing my colleagues in Ghana, I can say it's not bad at all. It's very good. And with RPI annual training that goes on for radiographers every year, it's a very good measure that boosts their professionalism. I said we are safe but not safe, because sometimes you go to a place, a center, and you see that some of these basic things are not there, but they are operational. Okay, I think RPI will bear me out. Sometimes you go and you see that no, this condition shouldn't be prevailing, but they are working, especially in the districts. Okay, when you come to the tertiary level like Kolebu, you see maybe standardized things, but when you go further into the hinterlands, these things are not operational. So I would say whenever you want to establish an X-ray center or any radiation source in Ghana, budget must add on to the protection aspect. That's what I would say for now.
Thank you very much. Let's also take your opinion, please.
Thank you. I think that collaboration is key. And from the Chamber's point of view, we deal with all stakeholders in managing all the aspects of mining. If I remember, we sponsored a PhD student to monitor our norms. Prof, if I'm right, good. We sponsored Professor Panu's PhD to monitor the norms in our environment. And I think we also commissioned the Consultancy Center of the Atomic Energy Commission to do the radioactivity status of all our samples: water, soil, sediment, waste rock, and tailings. So once you know the status, then you know how to handle it. So without RPI, you cannot know your radiation status. So collaboration with RPI is very, very key in monitoring radioactivity or radiation sources on our mines, as well as the EPA. I think that that collaboration is key, and RPI should be able to link very well with Chamber of Mines, especially with the new mines where they are doing exploration, so that you analyze the core samples, and the initial stages, you know whether it contains radioactive materials or not. Then you map up strategy to manage them. The only thing I know is that if you are exposed, they withdraw you from source. But if it's there, then it means that we are supposed to stop mining, and I don't think that's what we want to do. So over to you, research scientist. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Director RPI, your stakeholders on panel here all agree that there has to be a hands collaboration between RPI and other stakeholders. The job seems to be very big. There's the Chamber of Mines, there's telecommunication, there's EPA, there's Ghana Health, and further many more. What would you require to effectively play your role as the custodian of radiation protection in Ghana?
Thank you. Yes, thank you for the question. Yes, we've been doing collaboration, and we're trying to deepen the collaboration to ensure that we execute our mandate of ensuring protection of human health and environment. No, we do a lot of research, and there's a lot of things we need to go into research, field works and other things. Even modern, there's emerging technology, equipment, and etc. So research is very expensive, and we therefore need a lot of money to be able to do research. Because they will definitely need the data. For you to get the data, you have to do research. You have to dirty yourself. For you to dirty yourself, you need to go with something. So that is where we are at the moment. We need the collaboration, but we also need some form of funding to be able to update our equipment, because we need modern equipment to be able to do a lot of work. So that's where we're looking at. And we continue to collaborate with all of them, and even to embrace the other organizations that we don't collaborate with, because we feel we should expand to do more for the nation.
Anyway, just a thought I have, based on the point you have just raised, that in our collaboration, if we could also, especially our stakeholders who use radiation sources, and we are interested in the safety of our workers and patients, if you're a hospital, maybe we could think about if we could get a fund or propose a funding for radiation protection. I don't know the modalities, but let's think about it. Thank you. Now, we are wrapping up, but let me just throw in a last question to see, in all this that we do, most of us, RPI is a government institution. We are under regulation. NRAA is regulating us. Finally, what can we ask in terms of regulation, in terms of government support, to support radiation protection and enhance collaboration? To the panel. Any thoughts? Please feel free to speak up. I will not mention names this time around.
Yeah. Okay, so I think RPI has been doing a great job so far. But the thing, and I think Doc mentioned it, the cost of research. As a country, if you look at the percentage of our GDP that we're dedicating to research, is woefully inadequate. And so that's one of the things that we need to look at. I'm not too sure about fund creation. We know when we create the fund, we cap it. So I don't know. But we need to find a way of funding it, especially, where we want to push technology, where we're even thinking of, going nuclear for our energy and all of that. As you do that, then you need to make sure that your protection is really adequate. So from both the government side and also from private sector as well, we need to increase support for funding for research, getting our students themselves and those who work in GAEC as well to deepen the issue of research, and then make sure that we find ways in which we can translate those research into projects, translate them also into, get the mass media also to get in to really be able to explain that and get people to see the value that we have in this. Normally when you talk protection, it's just like insurance. Wait till the harm happens. Now all of this is not happening because RPI has been working. But let one major disaster happen, and we've seen the Chernobyls, we've seen other things that have happened anywhere. The cost of it is really high. So if you are a country that you've been running and using all of these x-rays and all of this for years, and you not have a major calamity, just bear in mind that it's because there's some protection that you put in place that is working. But how do you move it to the next level? So we need a lot of funding support from government and from other institutions to make sure that we can continue this research. And then once we do, disseminate the results and let people see the value of what is going on.
Okay. I will look at permitting and then approval. I know that all radiation sources have to be permitted, if I'm right, whether it now goes to RPI or the Nuclear Regulatory Authority. Our sources are permitted, and every year we renew the permit. So do we know all the sources? I heard a prof saying that's about 61, 600. So if we are permitting all these sources in a year, every year, I think it will do something. And then monitoring and training. The mining industry have a policy to train at least 1 or 2 people to take up radiation. So we have safety officers in charge of radiation. Are they knowledgeable? Do they know what they are supposed to do? And the training is under the ambit of RPI. So if they collaborate with the Chamber of Mines to conduct radiation training for mining, if it's there or not, that's fine. But if it's there, what do we do? And then the monitoring. All the dosimeters worn by any worker outside atomic energy is analyzed by RPI. Are we doing it effectively? And do we pick the dosimeters and measure the doses for free? No. So why don't we expand these avenues and see if we can get a little from there? Then we look for collaboration for the scientific studies as we are doing. I think that because we know our radiation sources, I know radon is on the coastal line, uranium is somewhere north. The mining companies are not too keen about the radiation sources, especially the naturally occurring ones. So let's get into collaboration with especially the new ones and then know the status. And then all these things, at least it comes with something. If nothing at all, it will come with a publication. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, in terms of regulation, we are looking at reviewing our act and the regulation as well to incorporate some of these things. And also, as a permit condition, we want to look at incorporating the management of radiation in our permit conditions, so that institutions that have equipment that have radiation emissions, then we'll have to look at its management critically. So that is what we are looking at in terms of regulation.
Yes, it's talking about technical service. Yes, we do technical service, we do charge. But our fees and charges are regulated by the Parliament of Ghana. So we cannot just, all the things are becoming expensive, we just cannot wake up and charge. So it limits us in terms of resources to do the work. So that's some of the challenges we are having. Yes, we do a lot of services, but the income as compared to the expenditure, they don't balance. So that's some of the issues that we are looking at. So
maybe we need to send a new proposal to Parliament. Mr. Wati, do you want to say something on this as well?
If resources will not come from central government, I was proposing, why don't we institute something like a health institution fund, like maybe at the district level, the X-ray department should have a little fund that should take care of radiation protection issues. And then the regulation, the regulatory authority, when they come to do those, they charge. They charge, and you have to pay for it.
Yes.
So, I mean, these small funds should be able to take care of some of these things so that it will make monitoring more effective. Yes, I've been proposing this for a long time at some place.
I 100% agree with your proposal. Like my DG will say, vitamin M is the lifeblood for everything. Yes. A round of applause for my panelists, please. A round of applause. So I want to open the floor for questions. We have media men here. We have students. We have scientists and researchers. Questions, please. Can you raise your hand and my honorable MC will identify you.
Prof.
Thank you very much. I wanted to sort of throw more light on some of the issues that have been raised. So a question was posed as to whether we are safe. From the regulatory authority point of view, I can assure everyone that we are safe. There's no cause for alarm. So nobody should leave this room without fear that we are not safe. Secondly, the issue raised by Mr. Debra about the permitting issue. Yes, rightly put, all radiation sources and devices in the country will have a regulatory database of everything in this country. And for that matter, if you have any source of devices somewhere that is not under regulatory control, that means that somebody is hiding and using it. So as part of our work, when a team is going from one region to another for inspection, we also do what we call scouting. Just last week, a team was coming back from the north, and I think they got to one town and they saw, I think around Bomboy area, in the Savannah region, they saw a beautifully built facility. So they became curious and they said, wait, let's find out whether they have something there. And lo and behold, there was an X-ray machine that's being used. Again, the challenges we have is mostly with the what? The government institutions. They are the more difficult people to regulate because they see themselves as government, the authority is also government, so they think they can break the law. But rest assured that whether government or private, we are on you. We are not going to be afraid of anybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So this was more of a comment than a question. But Steve, do you want to say something? It looks like the government is rather breaking the rule. And you are with the health service.
Yes, that's very true. It is the government institutions that cause the trouble, just like he put it, because the private ones will make sure things are rightly done. But government will feel like it's government. And I've experienced it personally, so it's true.
Any more questions?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm really glad to be part of this program. For some of us, we are actually the practical people that are on the ground. We go to facilities a lot. I'm speaking of the use of X-ray devices, CT, whatever, in this country. There are a lot of problems, a lot of issues. And I'm very, very happy Dr. Ajabu is here. I'm very sure he, together with Mr. Boateng, can carry something to Ghana Health Service as well as the Ministry of Health, so for us to see how things can work. Radiation, we all know, at least most of us here, if we look at the basic issue of radiation as far as its interaction with the human body is concerned, it has a very good affinity for the young ones, growing ones. Now, why am I saying this? In our universities now, there are a lot of, or most of them are now into this radiography. Some time ago, it was only University of Ghana and Kolebu. But now almost all our universities are doing radiography. But the basic protection, as far as radiation protection is concerned, is missing. Because when you meet these people in the field, nobody will tell you, they don't know anything about radiation protection. One, the universities, Dr. Jabu, please, there should be the collaboration we are talking about. It must be deepened. Because most of these students from all over the facility, they are just dumped there. Some go there for mentorship without badges, nothing. They stay there, they do whatever they like. At the end of the training, they go back to school and they are sent to the hospital without monitoring, nothing. Meanwhile, they are the young ones that are going to hold the fort some time to come. I've been saying that sometimes when I get there, I'll tell them, if those people we have been calling the witches and the wizards, if we know some of these things, we wouldn't be talking about witches and wizards. Because some of these things are the causes that destroy those people. So, because of this, let us try, let's deepen the collaboration between the universities, Ghana Health Service, and the regulatory body, as well as other agents, so that we can have, in the future, we can have a very good future for our children. Please, this is what I want to say. Mine is not a question as such. This is what I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. But we want questions, actually. It looks like... Okay. I hope I get a question this time.
Thank you very much, Amamwako. I want to know from the Ghana Health Service. Now we have new modalities for diagnostic equipment, MRI and ultrasound equipment. They are assumed to be non-ionizing. We've done some work with MRI equipment. They produce heat and all that, increase in fetal temperatures and the rest. So, what do you do to ensure safety in MRI facilities as far as the electromagnetic field are concerned? Because apart from the patient being protected when they are undergoing scan, the workers also require some form of protection. So that is my question. Then second one, maybe go to industry. If you will care to know, the start of electromagnetic field monitoring, the initial equipment, the very first equipment, was purchased by the NCA. And I'm bringing this up because of the need for industries to fund research. Companies, when you go all over the place, the world, yes, government give funding for research, but engineer, you may be aware that because monitoring is done, your members can sleep and make their money. Without the monitoring and the initial agitation that we went through, maybe telecommunication industries will have suffered a grounding. So the point I'm making is that you can bring it to the attention of your members that you need to allocate money intentionally, that we want to fund student research in electromagnetic field and all these. New technologies are coming and we need to know. So this one, NCA had done something they could do more in the future, but I'm throwing this one to you. The mines, I heard they are doing something, they can do better. So this is to encourage funding of research and also my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Amwaku. So Steve, the first question goes to you. What are we doing with the MRI and the rest?
Like you rightly said, MRI is not doesn't produce ionizing radiation, but it also has its own negative effects. So, like the heat specific absorption ratio, it shouldn't exceed a certain threshold. So if maybe you are to do a whole spine, sometimes they have to maybe break it into two. We may do a part today and continue the rest tomorrow. It brings down the SAR. And then physically, when you enter an MRI place, room, especially in the magnet room, physically, the X-ray, the strong magnetic field has a lot of stress on you. So you can even be stressed because your hydrogen ions are obeying the external magnetic force. You don't have control over it again over a long time, especially around 1.5 Tesla going. So these are the two main effects of MRI, the physical aspects and then the specific absorption rate. Normally, if you are to do so much for a day, it has to be broken into pieces to reduce the heat.
Any more? Good.
My name is Samuel Basoa. I'm a diagnostic radiographer. And then the Hansford Regional Chairman for Ghana Society of Radiographers. I want to ask this question. I don't know whether RPI or maybe the EPA will answer me. I've been going on facility visitation a lot. And then we've been talking about how expensive it is to implement radiation protection in our hospitals and other diagnosis centers. But one thing that I've noticed is that you will go, and as a radiographer, I will speak from that perspective. You will go and you meet your radiographers working without TLD badges. Now, when you ask, they will tell you that we've been to management, we've spoken to them, and then they are not, cooperating. So sometimes I have to go there and then speak to the administrators and then the medical suits to just get that thing done. I want to know from RPI, is there any law that will buttress or will help radiographers to stop using ionizing radiation when they are not monitored with TLD badge? I don't think that one is much expensive. Even it is not sold. What they used to do is that they will just use it, and then you pay for the monitoring. That's all. So I don't know if there was any law that will help a radiographer to say that if I'm not monitored, if I don't have a TLD badge, then I'm not going to use this radiation machine. Sometimes you go there and they'll tell you that if you don't do it, we will run you redundant. And a lot of them are afraid. So I want to know from RPI or wherever that if there is any law that can help us to stop using ionizing radiation when we are not monitored with a common TLD badge. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
The man is very angry. He says, common TLD badge.
So, yes. My name is Prince for Ministry of Health. In addition to what the gentleman just said, he made mention of administration. There are other concerns. Say you visit the facility and they are working without the TLD badges, and you ask them and they said it's gone for reading, but it's not back. How long does it take for it to come back? Some of them say 3 months, and they are still working. Patients are there, they need to attend to them. So what is our RPI doing to solve this issue? I think we've touched base on this thing before. So I want to know the dynamism, how that is done.
Okay, thank you so much.
To you, Director.
Okay, I'll take the first one. The first is whether there's a regulations to ensure that you don't work without TLD. Yes, I think the nuclear regulatory will take that one. Yes, there is. You are not supposed to work without it. You see, this is an issue we noticed, and we realized that that's why we said that we want to do training for management, because we realized that some of them don't understand why we need to do those monitoring, because there's a cost associated with it. Because we buy one TLD badge, and it's like on rental, so you have to pay for the service.
although we are not charging the commercial rate because we are not being allowed to increase our fees yet. But then there's a service associated with it, which management have to pay. And so because of these payment issues, and as I said, most of the hospitals say because they are not receiving their NHI or something, so there's a challenge with these payments. So that's some of the issues. But as I said, there's cost. So management need to be able to, we also realize that there are some hospitals, maybe the old management was aware of it. The new management comes, they are not adequately briefed on it. Okay, so that's some of the things we are trying to see how best can we resolve those issues so that any management that comes in will be able to understand why we need to do personnel monitoring, because there's a cost associated with it. Then the second issue is called the TLD. Yes, we send the TLD badges to them, they read, they bring it back to us. We're supposed to, we read about 3 months, then we send issues with them. Okay, yes, we had some issues earlier on when we had a breakdown in equipment. So we had a challenge, but now we're able to get 2 machines, TLD readers, so that issues have been solved. We also realized some of the radiographers also have challenges with handling the TLD badges. Okay, we give it to you to use and return it, but they don't handle it well. They come, then the badges are spoiled, etc. So these are issues that we are also looking at it, how to resolve it, because they come with a cost. And if we ask you to pay for the damage, we have been not paying very adequately for the services. So paying for the badges is another issue. So those are issues that we have been these things, and we are trying to see how best we can rectify those issues.
No, actually, I'm trying to push the question to NRA because the law requires that NRA should make sure that any user of radiation, particularly in the hospitals, they have personnel monitoring service. And the requirement is that if it is RPI, when they monitor, the results which they give to the user, they should also send a copy to NRA to prove to NRA that they are monitoring this particular facility. And if NRA is not getting the report from the provider, and they still authorize the facility to continue operating, then it means that NRA is falling short there. And I think maybe the deputy man here will be able to answer.
This is not fair. This is my former boss. How can you do this to me? Huh? Huh? And he has made a question more complicated. Yes, these concerns my colleagues have raised have come to my attention through the inspectors. And we have taken it up with RPI. In fact, we recommended to them that it is not enough just to have one cycle of TLD badges. You should have at least 3 times. So anytime you issue a badge, you don't collect a badge when you have not given the user a new one, because the monitoring has to be continuous. It is not fair. So please, RPI, we beg you, up your game so that we can also do our work effectively. We don't want to be too hard on you sometimes. Sometimes my colleagues will say that because the director is your friend, that's why we are not taking action. So it put me in a very uncomfortable position. But like my boss, he's my former boss. So he said, there's a law. But again, we say that safety rests with the individual who's using the source. So if you feel that your working conditions are unsafe because you don't know the radiation you are being exposed to, you have the right to say that I will not work. And that is why we also require that for every facility, you must have an RPO, radiation protection officer, who is empowered to stop every unsafe practice. And for that matter, for X-ray department, because the radiographers have some knowledge in radiation protection, we always want to designate them as the RPOs. So as part of their work, you also indicate your other colleagues in the facility as well as your what? Management. So it's really sad if a management member will tell you that he will make you redundant because you are insisting on the right thing. In such a case, such a facility should not even operate in the first place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, NRA. We'll just take a last question. Then, okay, last two. I've seen that. Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Mine is a bit of a question and also a comment at the same time. Two keywords I've picked in this engagement are collaboration and radiation protection and safety. However, how to effectively achieve this, in my opinion, is still in the hand. We talk of collaboration, and then it remains just saying. We cannot have a collaboration without a conscious effort of establishing a network among the institutions or between institutions to actually oversee whatever is before us. Therefore, I would recommend, or I'm pleading with the chairman to take this thing up and see how we can bring all the institutions as stakeholders to form a network with established terms of reference so that they can play around this. Secondly, in terms of the radiation protection and safety, I think there is much left to be desired of. Back home, back at Atomic Energy Commission, and as you know, as a country in general, we are embarking on what do you call it, nuclear power program, and we know there is radiation protection aspect of that. Yet there isn't that effective collaboration with the technical institution in charge of the nuclear power program and the Radiation Protection Institute, for instance. So we need to look at these things and really walk the talk. It's been talking and talking and talking. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I don't know where to place this. Is there a question or a comment or a contribution?
I think it's a very good contribution.
A good contribution. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Bless from the Ministry of Health, and I want to ask of the procedures a facility can go through if they want to set up a radiation department, and to make sure that it meets the necessary requirements or standards, so that we don't have a situation whereby they can go ahead and build the facility, and then NRA will come and say this doesn't meet standards. So are there procedures, like they will send their drawings for reviews? And if they send their drawing for reviews, how long does it take? Because there has been some scenarios whereby they send their drawings, and it takes a long time, and they end up going ahead, and then they'll build the whole radiation or X-ray department, and then doesn't meet standards. I want to ask, what are the procedures that we must follow, so that the public also get to know, whether private or public, then they can follow the right protocols in setting up this department. Thank you.
I think they should rather go to NRA.
Thank you very much. The question is very important, very relevant. Yes, so the procedure is this. We start from design and construction, okay? So once you have that intention, you first of all send a notification to the Nuclear Regulatory Authority that you want to establish a diagnostic center. And in that document, you indicate the type of facility you want to install, whether it's X-ray, CT, whatsoever. Then you provide us a design, okay? And that design now will be reviewed by the team of inspectors or regulators. Then if it is found to be okay, if something is not adequate, because your design has been such that you need to take into account other adjoining areas of occupancy, so that when you install the machine, it doesn't lead to exposure of people sleeping in other offices. So the team review all this, taking into account the type of facility, the room size, the kind of windows is established inside the room, the thickness of the wall, all that comes inside. And you must indicate all this in your design, which is reviewed. And if it's found to be okay, then a permit is issued for the construction. But again, in order for us not to overburden ourselves, sometimes we request that if you want to apply, we'll ask you to consult any of our licensed authorized providers like RPI and some other individuals, or the professor himself is also one of them. Then they will take you through the entire process until you submit your application for authorization. So after the design and construction, then you apply what we call an import permit. And this is very important in the process because it helps us to have from the onset the kind of source that is coming to the country, who is going to own it, then we'll enter it into our database. So you cannot dodge. Even without a permit, you cannot clear that source or device from the port because we have a very good working relation with the customs. So once that is done and you construct, then the team from the NRA is invited again, or the qualified expert can assess and advise on their report that they've assessed the facility, the construction, and found everything to be okay. But not ending there, the inspector for regulatory authority will do a double check again to be sure that you constructed the facility based on the design that you provided. If there's any modification, problem, we won't accept that. Then we move to the next stage where you now apply for application for authorization for possessing and use. So there are two aspects. You possess and use. So even if you possess and don't want to use it, you still will pay for the authorization fee for possessing it because it's your business you are doing. Okay? Then once you apply for authorization, we now have to review it again against our regulatory requirements. Then following that, a report is generated by the inspector, which is given to another team who will now come to the site again to inspect the facility that has been installed. And that is where they do a lot of measurement to make sure that exposure to other areas of occupancy is within acceptable limits. The outcome of the report is now the authorization granted to you to use. So finally, at the last step is when at the end of the useful life, you need to decommission or dispose. For X devices with decommission, for sources, you have to go through the management process until disposal. So again, you need to submit your own decommissioning or disposal plan. And all these steps require that at every stage, there are some key requirements you must comply with until a final authorization is granted or decommissioning is permitted. Thank you very much. I hope that is clear to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. It looks like your invoice is increasing the cost.
All right. Are we done? Last one.
Last one. The very last one.
Thank you, Chairman. Mine is just a suggestion. The problem we have enumerated from the hospital, I think the training we intend to give the managers will work to some extent, but will not solve all the issues. What we should be thinking of in the long term is to make health physicists to be in charge of radiation issues in the hospital. Currently, we use RPOs. And these are workers that were picked, trained, and certified to act. From the people that come for the training, they still remain lower level employees. So they cannot influence management decisions. But if we make health physicists to be in charge in the hospital, in Ghana, the least training to qualify to be a health physicist is MPhil. And at that level, you will be employed at management level. And effectively, I think it will help us to solve a lot of the problems. So this should be what we should be thinking about for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shall we give a round of applause to ourselves for the wonderful questions that we've asked? But there's one more that was asked initially, and we promised that Director for RPI will attempt to answer that. The whereabouts of used or is it old-fashioned or malfunctioned X-ray machines and stuff like that. Have you seen them?
Okay, thank you. Yes, I've seen them. For the X-rays, yes, actually, because it produces X-rays and then the principle, so it's decommissioned. But for the other sources, like the ones they use for the nuclear medicine therapy, yes, that's one we manage it. So as you see from the documentary, we have a section that's Radioactive Waste Management Center, where these sources are sent. As the professor from NRA said, we have to go through them, because you have to notify them. They have to give you, at the end of their lifespan, you have to write to NRA to inform them that I've got to the end of my lifetime, so this is my plans. Either send it back to the supplier or send it to Radioactive Waste Management Center for management. If you are giving the permit, then you bring it to the Waste Management Center, and then we do the management through the process that was shown on it. There's another issue that came up from the rep from mines. So he talked here, say the mines, yes, they don't have high levels of norm, but other areas that's norm, that is an issue that we need to look is from the oil and gas fields. Because there's a lot of natural radioactive material that are occurring, the term of steel, sledges, and then these levels are very high, and with time we are going to get higher amount of these ones. That is going to pose problems to us. And I think we are collaborating with the EPA on that one to see how best we can be able to design facilities to have proper management of this, not to contaminate our groundwater on it.
Thank you very much. I think at this juncture, we would have to draw the curtains here. I want to thank my able panelists very much for your wonderful submissions and your insight into the situation of collaboration and enhancing radiation protection. A round of applause for them. Great. So we'll take our seat and I'll hand over to, where is the world best MC?
Big round of applause for them. Let's continue to clap until they all get seated. It's been quite insightful. One or two things struck me. Dr. Ashibe mentioned that we don't teach science in our local languages. And it set me thinking. Once I was invited by Obonu FM to talk about radiation and its effects. Then I realized I don't know the Ghana name for radiation first. What is non-ionizing radiation in Ghana? We should teach proton. What is proton in Ghana, for instance? Thermoluminescent dosimeter. Maybe we have to. Cancer, I think the accounts call it, later I got to know Kokram. Yes, but I don't know the Ghana version. And the man asked me the symbol for cancer. And I said the symbol is a crab. So then he goes like, then I could say cancer is a crab. I said, no, it's not. We actually have to look at our local dialect and see what names we can give to this. Another thing that struck me was Professor Amuakun saying that the first monitoring device was from NCA, bought it for us. So the industry should also try and come in and purchase some things for us. But then Dr. Deborah from the mines said that, oh, if you don't get anything at all, you get publication. And I was saying it to myself, these days we don't eat publications. We need something small, more than publications. So I must say, on the whole, it's been great. It's been wonderful. And there were so many hands raised. You wanted to ask the panelists questions, but then we still have to wind up. So I want to believe that even from here, the collaboration will continue. We will ask ourselves more questions, and together, we will ensure that radiation is safe in the public. It is at this juncture that I want to invite the chairman for the day to now tell us about his impression about all what has transpired today. Shall we welcome the chairman with a round of applause? I'll get to them.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, our MCs, the panelists, all of you. You've made this program a success. And a lot of information has been shared within a very short time. And if anybody is here who could not get anything at all, what I would say is that the discussion has been on radiation. That radiation cannot be seen, cannot be felt, cannot be smelled, you can't taste it, but it exists. Our scientists have been able to develop devices that they are able to measure. And if nothing is done to ensure that we are protected against its effect, even though it's being used for the benefit of humanity in many aspects, even diseases are being treated with radiation. But if we do not take measures to protect ourselves, the same radiation that is serving us well is also going to kill us. So if you are here and you did not get anything, just remember that radiation exists. And we need to develop the culture that will make us conscious at all times to take action to protect ourselves. Thank you very much. As we started the program, we had our welcome address from our Director General, and he gave us a lot of insights as part of his welcome. And we had solidarity messages from collaborators and other stakeholders in the field of radiation, especially those who use radiation in their workplace or who in their work encounter radiation. And we heard from the telecom chamber, we heard from Chamber of Mines, Ghana Health Service has also spoken, the radiographers have spoken. There are some important messages that we have picked. But one of the key things that came up, and it was a question that was thrown personally to me. I don't have an answer. Well, the question was that our radiographers are young. You know, radiation will take time to manifest its effect. So if you are young, it means that you are going to live long. And during your life, you will definitely manifest its effect. If you are old and you are exposed, maybe the effect may not manifest before you live. And in that case, you live together with whatever will happen in future. Nobody will see it. But if you are young, then it becomes very, very important. So our young radiographers needs to be protected. And the issue of badges, the issue of lead aprons, issue of everything to do with the x-rays they are using, the CT they are using, is very important. But like my colleagues indicated, it's a complex situation to deal with. If badges are bought for the radiographers, with time, they would leave, either on transfer or find another job. And when they are leaving, where does the badge go? Do they carry it along? In the facility, the badge is actually monitoring what you are being exposed to. And one badge cannot be shared. Your exposure needs to be recorded and monitored by RPI. So I believe that a radiographer should have his or her own badge. But these are policy issues, and I'm happy at this forum it's come up. So let's not leave it here. Let's take it up. And all stakeholders who are involved should keep the discussion going so that we find a permanent answer to this. If the policy should be that once you are a radiographer, as part of the things you need to work should be the badges. And if every radiographer needs personal badges, maybe 2 or 3 to carry, and as it gets damaged, you replace it. Let's have a clear policy on that. If facilities have to, and I know that in some places, the radiographer works in different facilities. So if Hospital A has bought a badge for you, you are using it in Facility A. Maybe you are doing locum in Facility B, you are doing locum in Facility C. So when you leave Facility A, you go to Facility B, they give you a badge or not give you a badge. That one I have no answer. If you are lucky and they give you a badge, what happens to your radiation exposure that has been recorded in Facility A? Maybe you don't stay only at Facility B, but you continue to Facility C, Facility D. So looking at this, wouldn't it have been better if the badge belongs to you and wherever you go, you use it so that cumulatively you have your badges? Radiation Protection Institute try to work something out, but I still have my doubt that that could really address this concern. So the question, I believe I've provided an answer. All right. So thank you very much. I won't try to summarize all the issues that have come up, but in my message, it's clear. So thank you for supporting me to have a successful tenure of chairmanship. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We actually enjoyed your tenure. It wasn't 8 years, but it's okay. From here, we will have vote of thanks, and then there will be a closing prayer, after which we will all file out and take a group photograph. It's important for the occasion that we keep memories of what we are doing for the first time, actually. So this one, we will have a group photograph outside. After the group photograph, all the invited guests will come back into this room. And the GAEC staff and the rest of the people who have not officially been invited, you will climb up. So after the group photograph, all the invited guests, please come back to this room. And guys, staff, please, you climb up to the first floor for a little discussion, further discussion on other things. Thank you very much. Having said this, I want to invite Mrs. Rita Bodro to give us the vote of thanks. Ms. Rita. Mrs. Rita Bodro, please.
A warm and graceful afternoon to our valued chairman, Dr. Nicholas Ajabu, head of Biomedical Engineering Unit, Ministry of Health, the Director General and his deputy, Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, former directors, invited guests, directors of institutes, center managers, heads of department, staff, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to be called upon to give a vote of thanks on this honorable occasion and to also contribute to also acknowledge the contributions of those who really worked hard to make today's program a reality. On behalf of the Radiation Protection Institute and the entire fraternity of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, we extend our most sincere thanks to the Almighty God for bringing today's event to a resounding success. With His blessings and grace, we are able to make today's event what it was. On behalf of the Radiation Protection Institute, we extend a real heartfelt gratitude to the chairman of today's event, who spared time off his busiest schedule to grace this occasion. Today, we have had the opportunity to hear his thoughts on the role of radiation protection for the worker, the public, and the environment. This will surely encourage us in our daily dedicated practice. So we are grateful. Our next appreciation goes to our worthy Director General and his deputy for their presence and gracing today's occasion. Thank you, sir. Our gratitude goes to all the panel members, the Environmental Protection Agency, Chamber of Mines, Ghana Health Service, Ghana Chamber of Telecommunication for gracing this occasion and sharing their thoughts on the topic. And to our sister institutions, National Communication Authority, Mineral Commission, Nuclear Regulatory Authority, and the Ghana Society of Radiographers for coming and furnishing us with such wonderful solidarity message. We are grateful. We are immensely thankful to the director of the Radiation Protection Institute, Dr. E.T. Glover, for his efforts in anchoring today's event. His ideas and elegance of explanation of topics we need to mention. We are grateful. An event like this do not happen overnight. We want to extend our most heartfelt gratitude to the organizers, especially the committee who took time off their busy schedules and planning this event to such a successful end. We are grateful. And we are also grateful to all the staff for their various contributions. We would like to thank the people who worked behind the scenes to make this event happen. Our technical arrangement team, stage setting, lighting and arrangement team, and housekeeping staff. We are grateful. We are grateful to you all, and God bless us all. Long live the Radiation Protection Institute. Long live GAEC.
So we thank you, Mrs. Kodjuro, for thanking us. You know, GAEC is celebrating its 60th anniversary. And so we want some funding for so many things. And so we have given you the Momo number. Just in case you think the number is not working, you may want to try and put some money in it. You will see whether it's working or not. We also have the various accounts that you can put in something, as and when you also get something. But for now, I want to see you people testing this number especially. You want to find out whether it's not a scam or anything. So just put in some money. Let me see if it's working or not. Good. Since you are going to do it, I want to move on. And we'll invite Dr. A.M.A. Dawood to give us the closing prayer.
Thank you. Please, let's pray. In the name of the gracious and merciful God, the Lord of honor and the Lord of might, you have admonished us in your holy book that if we are grateful, you will add more unto us. We are therefore sincerely grateful to you for our lives, sustenance, and good health. We have also been admonished by the prophet that he who is not thankful to his fellow human cannot truthfully claim to be thankful to you, O Lord. We therefore pray and thank sincerely our forebears who held the fort of this institution until our time. We pray that you favor and bless them wherever they are for their sacrifices. For the current generation of staff, grant us wisdom, knowledge, and direction in all our affairs relating to our works, and enable us to contribute meaningfully to the progress of our institution, so we are able to serve resiliently with diligence. In the end, we say, ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
Thank you, Dr. Dawood. There's been a slight change in the arrangement. The cameramen want us to use this backdrop, so they will come and tell us, or perhaps we will look at the arrangement. We will want to take some group photograph here, perhaps with the chairman and a few dignitaries, I think. All of us. No, I'm afraid. How can all of us? So some people will have to sit there.